Ladies and gentlemen, listen carefully. Talent is amazing. Talent is impressive. But let me tell you something, talent alone is not enough. There are countless talented people in the world who never reach their potential because they lack hunger. Hunger beats talent every single day. Hunger, the relentless drive to push beyond your limits, to outwork, outthink, and outlast everyone around you. That is what separates the good from the great. Effort outweighs ability every single time, because effort is the one thing you control from the moment you wake up until the moment you go to sleep. You don't choose the family you were born into, the environment you grew up in, the natural gifts you inherited, or the advantages others have over you. But you always choose how hard you work. You always choose how much heart you put into your grind. And that choice becomes the separating factor between those who succeed and those who stop halfway. People love to admire talent. They love to point out the prodigies, the naturals, the individuals who seem to do things effortlessly. But what they don't see, what they don't measure, what they don't understand is that talent alone cannot carry anyone to greatness. Talent is like a seed. It might look impressive at the beginning, but if you never plant it, water it, protect it, and consistently nurture it, it will never grow into anything meaningful. On the other hand, effort is the daily commitment to growth. Effort is active. Effort is intentional. Effort is the grind that wakes you up before the sun, keeps you focused when others are distracted, and empowers you to move forward even when everything inside you wants to stop. There are countless stories of talented individuals who failed to reach their potential, not because they lacked something extraordinary, but because they were never willing to put in the necessary work. They coasted on their ability, believing that talent would carry them through every challenge. But the problem with talent is that it becomes useless when adversity hits. Talent is comfortable. Talent expects things to come easy. Talent relies on being naturally good instead of forcing itself to evolve. But effort, on the other hand, is built for difficulty. Effort expects resistance. Effort expects obstacles. Effort is ready for war. The person who depends solely on their natural ability might shine quickly, but the person who depends on effort builds endurance, and endurance is what allows you to stay standing long after the talented one have given up. Think about the people you admire most in this world. The champions, the leaders, the individuals who changed history, broke records, built empires, or transformed their lives from nothing. When you study them deeply, you learn something powerful. Most of them were not the most talented. They weren't the smartest in the room. They weren't the strongest, the richest, or the most naturally gifted, but they were the most committed. They were the most consistent. They were the ones who refused to rely on luck and instead forced themselves to improve day after day. They outworked everyone. They trusted effort more than talent. They trusted the grind more than blessing. They believed that if they kept pushing long enough, eventually the world would have no choice but to recognize their greatness. Effort is what transforms ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Talent might give you a head start, but effort determines how far you can go. When you are willing to push yourself beyond your comfort zone, when you are willing to repeat a skill over and over until you master it, when you are willing to sacrifice sleep, comfort, and temporary pleasure for long-term victory, your effort begins to accumulate. Every day you show up, you compound your progress. Every moment you choose discipline over distraction, you strengthen your mindset. And soon, effort builds something that talent will never be able to match. Momentum. Momentum is the force that makes improvement faster and faster, success more frequent, and progress more natural. Momentum turns every small choice into a powerful movement forward. Talent will not give you momentum. Only effort can do that. People often talk about motivation as if motivation is the secret ingredient to success. But motivation comes and goes. Motivation is emotional. It rises with inspiration and falls with difficulty. Effort is emotional. Effort is a decision. Effort is a lifestyle. You don't always feel motivated, but you can always choose effort. You can be tired, frustrated, disappointed, or overwhelmed and still give effort. You can be scared of failing and still give effort. You can be surrounded by doubt, negativity, and uncertainty and still commit to the grind. That is why effort outweighs ability. Ability is passive. Effort is active. Ability may help you win once, but effort allows you to win repeatedly, even when the odds are against you. Every successful person understands that the world does not reward potential. It rewards performance. You could be the most talented person in your field, but if your work ethic is weak, your talent becomes silent. You cannot rely on potential to carry you through life. Potential might impress people for a moment, but effort earns respect for a lifetime. Every champion was once a beginner who chose effort over excuses. Every leader was once someone who struggled, but refused to stay where they were. Every expert was once terrible at what they now excel at, but they kept putting in the reps until greatness became their identity. Talent without work becomes a burden. It becomes something you waste, something you talk about instead of something you live. But effort, even without talent, becomes a weapon. It becomes the one thing that separates you from everyone who quits early, becomes your identity. Effort gives you confidence because you know you earned every step. You didn't cheat the process. You didn't rely on luck. You didn't depend on gifts. You built everything with your own hand, your own sweat, your own consistency. And here's the truth. You can always increase your effort, but you cannot magically increase your talent. Talent is limited. Effort is limitless. Talent is fixed. Effort is flexible. Talent can be overshadowed. Effort can only grow stronger. When you decide that you will outwork everyone, something incredible happens. You begin to unlock levels of potential inside yourself that you never knew existed. You start discovering strengths that were hidden behind fear. You start seeing opportunities that talent alone would never allow you to reach. Effort expands your world. Effort sharpens your vision. Effort builds your resilience. While talent stays the same, effort transforms you into someone new. Even the most gifted individuals in the world depend on effort to stay relevant. The moment they stop working, someone hungrier, someone less talented but more committed will pass them. That's the beautiful thing about effort. It equalizes the competition. It gives every human being a chance at greatness, regardless of where they start. You might not be the smartest or the strongest or the most talented, but if you are willing to put in more effort than everybody else, you will rise, you will improve, you will grow, you will win. You will surpass people who were once miles ahead of you. You will surprise the world with how far you can go simply because you refused to depend on talent alone. Effort is the foundation of mastery. Mastery doesn't come from being good once. It comes from being committed thousands of times. It comes from repetition, focus, patience, and a deep desire to be better tomorrow than you were today. When you combine effort with consistency, you begin to reach a level that talent alone cannot touch. Consistent effort builds precision. It builds reliability. It builds discipline. And in a world filled with people who rely on shortcuts, consistency becomes your competitive advantage. The more you show up, the more unstoppable you become. Effort also teaches you humility. When you work for something, when you grind for something, when you sacrifice for something, you develop a deeper appreciation for the results you achieve. Success becomes something meaningful to you, not something you take for granted. Talent may give you pride, but effort gives you purpose. When you earn your victories, the journey becomes as valuable as the destination. You no longer measure yourself only by wins and losses. You measure yourself by growth, resilience, and character. That is why effort outshines ability. Because effort does more than create success. It creates transformation. It shapes who you become. It changes your identity. It builds a version of you that is strong, disciplined, hungry, and unbreakable. Talent gives you a spark, but effort builds the fire. And when life challenges you, when obstacles rise, when setbacks hit, talent will not save you. Only effort will. Effort is the muscle that pushes you forward when everything around you tries to pull you back. Effort is the heartbeat of progress. Effort is the foundation of greatness. And effort, day after day, decision after decision, hour after hour, will always overpower ability. Because in the end, the world doesn't remember the most talented person. It remembers the one who never gave up. Hunger is relentless because it is not just a feeling, not just an emotion, not just a moment of excitement that fades after a few hours. Hunger is a mindset, a fire that burns deep in your spirit, a force that refuses to let you settle for average or ordinary. Hunger is that voice inside you that wakes you up before the alarm clock, that pushes you to keep going when your body wants to quit, that whispers a one more round when everyone else already walked away. Hunger is not polite. Hunger does not operate on convenience. Hunger does not negotiate with comfort. Hunger demands more from you every single day. And if you listen to it, if you feed it, it transforms you into someone unstoppable. Most people rely on talent and lose their hunger too early. They get a little success and suddenly they relax, they slow down. They stop pushing. They think the small victory they achieve means they have already arrived. But hunger never allows you to believe that you've made it. Hunger keeps you humble. Hunger keeps you working. Hunger keeps you grounded because hunger understands that the moment you start feeling comfortable is the exact moment you start falling behind. Hunger does not disappear after a win. In fact, it becomes even stronger. It reminds you that success must be fed daily, not occasionally. Relentless hunger is what separates champions from contenders, legends from talented amateurs, leaders from the crowd. Because hunger fuels consistency, hunger fuels discipline, hunger fuels resilience. When you have hunger, you don't wait to be told what to do. You don't need inspiration from others. You don't need external rewards. The drive comes from within. You wake up with purpose and you go to bed with intention. Every step of your day is guided by the desire to get better. Hunger is not satisfied with yesterday's effort or yesterday's results. Hunger demands that you improve today and then again tomorrow and then a day after. It becomes your identity. It becomes the engine that powers everything you do. The reason hunger beats talent so easily is because talent gets tired. Talent assumes things should come easy. Talent expects the world to recognize it automatically. But hunger works in silence. Hunger works in the dark, in the early mornings when nobody is watching, in the late nights when everyone else is sleeping, in the hours when motivation is gone, but commitment remains. Talent waits for the perfect moment. Hunger creates the moment. Hunger does not rely on mood or circumstances. Hunger works whether you feel like it or not. Hunger does not care about whether excuses, feelings, or limitations. Hunger only cares about progress. There are people in this world who may never be the most talented at anything. They weren't born with exceptional abilities or natural gifts. They didn't have advantages handed to them, but they had something far more powerful. The belief that effort and persistence could take them further than talent ever could. Their hunger pushed them to study longer, practice harder, and stay focused when others lost interest. While talented people celebrated too early, hungry people were preparing to take their place. While talented people drifted, hungry people sharpened their skills. And eventually hunger overtook talent because hunger does not understand the word to stop. Hunger also gives you the courage to take risks. Talent sometimes makes people afraid. They fear failing because it might expose the truth that talent alone isn't enough. But hunger embraces risk because hunger knows that every attempt, every error, every setback is part of becoming stronger. Hunger does not fear failure because hunger is far more afraid of being average. Talent avoids challenges. Hunger runs toward them. Talent plays it safe. Hunger pushes limits. Talent wants to look good. Hunger wants to grow, and growth always beats appearance. When hunger becomes part of your life, you start seeing obstacles differently. The average person sees obstacles as roadblocks. Someone with talent sees them as threats. But someone with hunger sees them as opportunities to prove their commitment, to strengthen their character, to sharpen their skills, to rise above pain and adversity. Pain becomes fuel. Hardship becomes motivation. Doubt becomes a stepping stone. Every challenge becomes a chance to rewrite your story. Hunger transforms pressure into power. People with hunger don't wait for perfect conditions. They don't wait for someone to validate them. They don't wait for support or applause. They take responsibility for their own path. They build momentum through their own actions. They use what they have, where they are, with whatever resources are available. They don't complain about what they lack because hunger keeps them focused on possibility, not limitation. Hunger builds creativity. It forces you to think differently, move differently, and act differently. Hunger forces you to find solutions where others only see problems. And hunger never quits. Quitting is something hungry people simply do not accept. Even when doors close, hunger finds a window. Even when windows close, hunger breaks through the wall. Even when every route seems blocked, hunger creates a new one. Hunger refuses to lie down. Hunger refuses to surrender. Hunger refuses to let your dreams die quietly. It is the voice in your soul saying, I will not be defeated. I will not be denied. I will not stop until I get what I came for. Talent cannot match this level of persistence because talent often depends on eat. Hunger depends on fight. One of the most powerful things about hunger is its ability to revive you when you're tired. Everyone gets tired. Everyone gets discouraged. Everyone has moments where they feel lost. But hunger does not allow you to stay down. Hunger shakes you awake. Hunger reminds you why you started. Hunger reconnects you with your purpose. It brings your goals back into focus. It recharges your energy when you feel like you have nothing left. Hunger is the mental toughness that carries you forward when your body can't. It is the spiritual grit that pulls you up when everything else pushes you down. The reason hunger is so rare is because hunger requires discomfort. It demands sacrifice. It requires you to say no to distractions, no to laziness, no to instant gratification. Hunger asks you to trade pleasure for progress, comfort for growth, and excuses for excellence. Talent avoids discomfort. Hunger embraces it. Talent looks for shortcuts. Hunger invests in the process. Talent wants the result. Hunger wants the journey because hunger knows the journey is what builds you into someone capable of handling the result. Hunger also requires humility. You cannot be hungry if you believe you already know enough or have done enough. Hunger makes you a lifelong student. It makes you curious. It makes you open to correction, open to feedback, open to learning from others. Talent sometimes creates arrogance, the belief that you already have everything you need. But hunger creates openness. Hunger acknowledges that there's always more to learn, more to improve, more to refine. Hunger keeps your ego out of the way so your growth can continue. Hunger even affects the people around you. When someone truly operates with real hunger, their energy becomes contagious. People feel it. They see the intensity, the focus, the determination. Hunger inspires others to push harder. Hunger raises the standard for everyone in the room. Hunger turns you into a leader, not because you talk loudly, but because you live loudly. You lead through your effort, your example, your consistency. You show others what it means to be committed to something bigger than yourself. Hunger is not just a personal force. It becomes a force that elevates your environment. When you live with relentless hunger, you become impossible to ignore. People may doubt you at the beginning. They may underestimate you. They may question your capabilities. But hunger transforms you in front of their eyes. Eventually, they stop asking whether you can do it. They start wondering how you did it. They start respecting the grind. They start recognizing your effort. And eventually, they start realizing that the hunger inside you is far more powerful than any talent they thought mattered. At the end of the day, hunger is the great equalizer. It gives ordinary people the chance to do extraordinary things. It gives the disadvantaged a chance to rise. It gives the overlooked a chance to dominate. Hunger does not care about your background or your limitations. Hunger only cares about your willingness to fight. When you live with relentless hunger, you stop depending on luck, chance, or talent. You depend on your grind. You depend on your discipline. You depend on your persistence. You depend on the belief that you will keep going no matter what. And that is why hunger is unstoppable. Hunger is the one thing the world cannot compete with, cannot overpower, and cannot deny. Hunger pushes you beyond talent. Hunger pushes you beyond excuses. Hunger pushes you beyond fear. Hunger pushes you into greatness because hunger refuses to accept anything less. Talent may give you the spark, but hunger gives you the flame. Talent may give you an advantage, but hunger gives you the victory. Talent may help you start, but hunger ensures you finish. And in the long run, the person who stays hungry will always outrun the person who stays comfortable. Consistency becomes the solid weapon that most people ignore. Yet it is the one force that quietly shapes champions while the world is not paying attention. It is not loud. It is not flashy. It is not something people brag about, but it is the foundation of every major transformation that has ever happened. Consistency is the proof that you truly want something, because anyone can work hard once. Anyone can be motivated for a day. Anyone can be disciplined for a week. But only a rare few can show up again and again, especially on the days when everything inside them says to stop. Consistency is the difference between people who dream and people who achieve. Because consistency turns dreams into plans, plans into action, into habits, and habits into results. Most people underestimate the power of repetition. They want instant success. They want shortcuts. They want something big to happen with very little effort. But consistency doesn't work that way. Consistency is slow and steady. It builds you quietly. It strengthens your character, your mindset, and your skills without making noise. Every day you show up, you are adding another brick to the foundation of your future. Some days the brick seems small. Some days you feel like you're not making progress. Some days you feel like your effort is invisible. But consistency teaches you something powerful. That results often arrive long after effort has been invested. The results you get next month or next year come from the consistency you practice today. Consistency is not about perfection. It is not about doing something flawlessly every single time. It is about refusing to quit. It's about refusing to go backward. It is about continuing to show up even when you make mistakes, even when you fall behind, even when you feel discouraged. The people who master consistency understand that falling down is part of the process, but staying down is a choice. They correct themselves, they get back up, they adjust their strategy, and they keep moving forward. Consistency is forgiving as long as you keep showing up. You do not need to be perfect, you just need to persist. The reason consistency beats talent is because talent can make you great for a moment, but consistency makes you great for a lifetime. Talent may get you applause in the beginning, but consistency earns respect in the end. Talent creates excitement, but consistency creates mastery. When someone works consistently, they develop depth, precision, and reliability that talent alone cannot offer. They become dependable. They become resilient. They become unstoppable because consistency trains the mind to keep going regardless of circumstances. The people who achieve the greatest breakthroughs in their lives are not always the most talented. They are the ones who refuse to take a day off from their purpose. They refuse to take a day off from their growth. They refuse to take a day off from their dream. They did something every day, even if it was small. They read a page, they practiced a skill, they made a call, they studied a lesson, they exercised, they pushed themselves a little more. And over time, those tiny acts accumulated into massive progress. Consistency compounds. And when something compounds, it grows beyond what the average mind can understand. Think of the difference between a person who practices something once a week and someone who practices it every day. The daily practitioner may not look impressive at first, but day after day, week after week, month after month, their skill level increases exponentially. Their voice becomes stronger. Their discipline becomes natural. Their mindset becomes sharper. While the talented person gets comfortable, the consistent person gets better. And eventually, the consistent person surpasses the talented one. Not because they have more ability at the start, but because they made more deposits in the bank of improvement. Consistency also builds a type of confidence that talent cannot replicate. Talent makes you feel confident when things are going well, but consistency makes you confident even when things are falling apart. When you have been consistent, you know you have put in the work. You know you have earned your progress. You know you have endured challenges and still kept going. That history of effort becomes your foundation. It becomes your belief system. It becomes your strength. You can look back and remind yourself of everything you overcame, everything you completed, everything you achieved despite difficulty. Consistency becomes a story you tell yourself about who you are. A story that says, I don't quit. I show up. I finish what I start. Another powerful aspect of consistency is that it destroys procrastination. When you train your mind to take action daily, you no longer wait for the perfect mood or the perfect environment. You learn to work without needing to feel ready. You learn to create progress under pressure. You learn to control your habits instead of allowing your habits to control you. Procrastination comes from indecision and fear, but consistency creates momentum that makes procrastination weaker and weaker. The more consistent you are, the less power procrastination has over you. Consistency also teaches discipline. Discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. And the more consistent you are, the easier discipline becomes. You begin to develop a rhythm, a flow, a pattern. Your mind starts to expect effort. Your body starts to understand routine. Your environment starts to align with your goals. What feels hard at first becomes natural over time because consistency turns discipline into a lifestyle instead of a struggle. Consistency also builds trust in yourself. When you stick to something long enough, you begin to trust your own word. You believe in your own ability to commit. You believe you can follow through. Many people fail not because they lack skill or opportunity, but because they don't trust themselves. They break promises to themselves so often that their mind no longer takes their goals seriously. But every time you show up, you build a new level of internal respect. You tell yourself, I said I would do this, and I did it. That internal trust becomes fuel for bigger goals and more ambitious dreams. Consistency requires discipline, yes, but it also requires patience. A lot of people quit, not because they can't succeed, but because they don't see results fast enough. They confuse slow progress with no progress. But consistency whispers, keep going. It reminds you that growth is not always visible. It reminds you that seeds take time to root before they rise. It reminds you that the most powerful changes happen beneath the surface before they appear publicly. Patience combined with consistency is one of the most unstoppable forces on earth. Consistency also prepares you for opportunities that talent may miss. Talent might shine when the spotlight is on, but consistency shines even in the dark. And one day, when an opportunity arrives, the consistent person is ready. They have built the skill. They have strengthened their character. They have developed discipline. They have earned the right to step into the moment fully prepared. Many people lose opportunities not because they are incapable, but because they did not prepare consistently before the opportunity arrived. Another beautiful thing about consistency is that it influences your identity. When you are consistent, you begin to see yourself differently. You are no longer someone who tries. You become someone who follows through. You are no longer someone who hopes. You become someone who executes. You are no longer someone who dreams. You become someone who achieves. Consistency creates identity transformation. And when your identity changes, your habits change. When your habits change, your results change. When your results change, your entire life changes. Consistency also protects you from emotional swings. Life is unpredictable. Motivation fluctuates. Circumstances shift. People disappoint. Plans fail. But consistency gives you stability. It becomes the anchor that keeps you steady even when the waves of life become violent. You keep moving forward even through uncertainty because consistency does not depend on emotion. It depends on commitment. Consistency sharpens your focus. When you show up repeatedly, your mind becomes more organized. Your goals become clearer. Your distractions become easier to ignore. You no longer waste energy on what doesn't matter because consistency teaches you what does matter. You create clarity through repetition. And above all, consistency builds results, real results, measurable results, life-changing results. Consistency is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It is not glamorous. It is not dramatic. It does not give instant gratification. But it gives something far more valuable, transformation. Transformation only belongs to those who refuse to stop. In the end, consistency is the greatest advantage any human being can have. Any human being can have. Because while talent fades, consistency grows. While motivation fluctuates, consistency remains. While others quit, the consistent rise. And the person who chooses consistency every single day will always outperform the person who chooses talent only when they feel like it. That is why consistency is the real key to greatness. It is the force that builds your future, shapes your character, strengthens your mindset, and ultimately turns your hunger into success. Pain becomes a powerful teacher when you stop running from it and start learning from it. Most people treat pain like an enemy, something to avoid at all costs, something that signals weakness, something that means they should stop. But pain is often the first sign that you are stepping outside your comfort zone. It tells you that you are stretching, growing, transforming. Pain is evidence that you are working on something bigger than yourself. It is the friction that comes when you try to become a better, stronger, more disciplined version of who you were yesterday. And once you begin to understand pain, not fear it, not resent it, but understand, you realize that pain can become one of the greatest advantages in your journey. Pain wakes you up to your potential, comfort numbs you, but pain activates something within you. It forces you to become alert, focused, and intentional. When everything is easy, you do not push yourself. You do not develop grit. You do not elevate your standards. You stay the same. But when pain enters your path, you start paying attention. You start rethinking your habits, your effort, your priority. Pain reminds you that you were not created to live an average life. It forces you to ask, do I want this badly enough to push through discomfort? And that question alone separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck. Pain also exposes what you truly value. When you face hardship, you are forced to choose, either move forward or give up. That decision reveals the truth about your desires. If you continue despite the pain, it means your dream matters deeply. It means your purpose is bigger than your exhaustion. It means your why is powerful enough to survive discomfort. Pain clarifies your intentions because it strips away excuses. Excuses are easy when life is comfortable, but pain demands honesty. It forces you to confront who you are and what you are willing to endure. Every champion has a story filled with pain, not because they wanted it, but because greatness requires it. Pain strengthens your spirit the same way resistance strengthens your muscles. You cannot grow stronger lifting feathers. You must lift something heavy. Life works the same way. Pain is the weight that builds your character, your resilience, your courage. Without pain, there is no depth, no endurance, no mental toughness. Pain trains your mind to stay steady under pressure. It teaches you how to think clearly when your emotions are loud, how to stay committed when your body wants to quit, how to keep fighting when everything feels overwhelming. Pain builds resilience, one of the most powerful qualities a human being can possess. Resilience is the ability to bounce back stronger every time life knocks you down. And here is the truth. Life will knock you down. It will test you. It will challenge you with situations that feel unfair, unexpected, and unnecessary. But every time you rise again, you become harder to break. What once discouraged you no longer has power over you. What once overwhelmed you becomes manageable. You grow thicker skin, deeper faith, stronger confidence. Eventually, you reach a point where pain does not scare you anymore. It prepares you. Pain also sharpens your identity. When you face struggle, you discover parts of yourself you never knew existed. You find strengths you didn't realize you had. You uncover determination you didn't know you were capable of. Pain reveals your true capacity. You start recognizing that you are stronger than your circumstances, stronger than your doubts, stronger than your fear. Pain forces you to rely on parts of yourself that only wake up in hard times. And once you see your own strength, you never forget it. The people who fear pain never experience this transformation. They run away at the first sign of discomfort. They quit before they even start. They abandon their dreams because they believe pain is a sign to stop. But pain is often the sign that you are finally heading in the right direction. Growth hurts because change demands sacrifice. Dreams feel heavy because greatness carries weight. You cannot become the best version of yourself without shedding old habits, old beliefs, and old identities. And that process is uncomfortable. Pain is not punishment, it is preparation. Every moment of difficulty is preparing you for something greater. Every struggle is shaping qualities within you that you will need for future challenges. The discipline you built today through pain becomes the foundation for tomorrow's opportunity. The patience forged through struggle becomes the wisdom that helps you make better decisions. The mental toughness shaped by adversity becomes the armor you wear when life throws its hardest battles at you. Pain prepares you for a level of success you would not be mature enough to handle otherwise. Pain also builds appreciation. You value things more when you've worked through hardship to achieve them. When you have suffered, sacrificed, and persevered, you don't take your blessings lightly. You don't let your progress go to waste. You don't allow laziness to creep in. Pain gives you perspective. It helps you understand that growth is earned, not given. And when you earn something, you protect it, you respect it, you care for it. Pain teaches gratitude in a way comfort never will. Pain teaches discipline because it forces you to show up even when everything inside you wants to stop. Discipline is born from those moments when you choose commitment over comfort. It is built every time you push through fatigue, frustration, or fear. Pain sets the stage for discipline because it gives you the opportunity to practice self-control in real time. When things are easy, discipline is not required, but pain demands it. And the more disciplined you become, the more powerful you become. Pain builds patience. Success rarely happens fast. It comes slowly, through daily decisions, repeated effort, and long-term dedication. Pain teaches you how to wait without quitting. It teaches you how to endure without losing hope. It teaches you how to hold on to your vision even when your circumstances tell you otherwise. Pain creates emotional maturity, the ability to stay calm, focused, and committed even when progress is invisible. Pain also forces you to let go of things that limit you. Sometimes pain is the hammer that breaks your old cage. It shatters relationships that hold you back. It pushes you away from situations that no longer serve your growth. It destroys your old identity so you can build a stronger one. Pain may feel cruel, but sometimes it is the only force strong enough to remove the thing you would never let go willingly. Pain builds courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the ability to move despite fear. And every time you push through pain, your courage grows. You become less afraid of failure, less afraid of judgment, less afraid of discomfort. Pain teaches you that you can survive what you once thought would break you. And once you know that, nothing can intimidate you anymore. Pain creates hunger. When you suffer, you develop a deeper desire to win. You stop wanting success casually, you want it urgently. Pain fuels your ambition. It reminds you of the hard times you never want to return to. It gives you fire. It gives you determination. It gives you a reason to fight harder, push deeper, and refuse to settle. Pain also humbles you. It reminds you that you do not know everything. It teaches you that you are human, that you have weaknesses, that you need growth. But humility is powerful because it keeps you learning. It keeps you open to improvement. It keeps your ego in check so you can continue evolving. Pain humbles you without destroying you. It reshapes you. Eventually, pain turns into power. The same struggle that made you cry becomes the strength that makes you stand tall. The same challenge that broke you temporarily becomes the reason you rise permanently. What was once your weakness becomes your wisdom. What was once your fear becomes your fuel. Pain doesn't just change you, it upgrades you. And when you look back, you realize the truth. The painful moments were the turning points. The discomfort was the catalyst. The struggle was the doorway. Pain did not stop you. It built you. Pain beat talent because talent avoids obstacles, but pain transforms you. Pain turns you into someone who cannot be shaken, someone who cannot be intimidated, someone who cannot be broken. Talent may help you win occasionally, but pain helps you win consistently because it builds the traits that last. Resilience, grit, discipline, courage, humility, hunger, and character. When you embrace pain as a teacher instead of treating it as a threat, you gain a power that talented people who avoid discomfort will never understand. Pain becomes your trainer, your mentor, your sculptor, and your strength. And once you've learned from pain, nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop you. Sacrifice is one of those words people like to talk about, but rarely want to live through. Everyone wants success. Everyone wants greatness. Everyone wants to rise to the top. But when it comes to giving something up, when it comes to letting go of comfort, when it comes to surrendering the things that feel good in the moment, most people pull back. They want destiny without discipline, results without responsibility, and greatness without giving up anything. But the truth is undeniable. You cannot reach the next level while holding on to everything at the current level. Something has to give. Every extraordinary person you admire made sacrifices when no one was watching. Their hunger demanded it, and they obeyed their hunger. Sacrifice isn't punishment. Sacrifice is the price you willingly pay to unlock the next version of yourself. Most people don't lose because they lack potential. They lose because they refuse to let go of what is comfortable. Comfort has destroyed more dreams than failure ever has. Comfort whispers, take it easy. You can do it later. You deserve to relax. One more hour of sleep won't hurt. But greatness shouts, get up now, grind now. The world belongs to the discipline. Sacrifice means choosing the voice of greatness over the voice of comfort, the voice of comfort. It means saying no to the short-term pleasures so you can say yes to long-term blessings. It means watching other people enjoy what you want right now, but staying locked in on what you know you must become. Sacrifice is painful, but it's the kind of pain that builds you, not the kind that breaks you, not the kind that breaks you. When you are hungry, I mean truly hungry, sacrifice becomes second nature. You don't complain about giving up leisure time. You don't hesitate when everyone else is going out while you are grinding. You don't feel bad when you choose discipline over distraction. You understand that what you're fighting for requires a version of you that doesn't exist yet, and sacrifice is the bridge between who you are and who you are becoming. Sacrifice means you don't get to be like everyone else. And that's exactly the point. Hungry people stop chasing approval. They stop worrying about opinions. They stop trying to fit into places they weren't meant to stay in. Their hunger forces them to stand out, to separate, to operate on a higher frequency. Sacrifice isn't just giving something up, it's moving towards something greater. Look around at anyone who's achieved anything meaningful. They didn't get there by accident. They didn't stumble into success. They didn't casually walk into greatness with a cup of coffee in one hand and excuses in the other. No, they sacrificed. They sacrificed sleep. They sacrificed comfort. They sacrificed entertainment. They sacrificed relationships that didn't support their goals. They sacrificed the old identity that kept them small. Sacrifice is the entry ticket. You can't negotiate the price. You can't ask for discounts. Success does not accept coupons. You either pay the full cost or you stay exactly where you are. But understand this clearly. Sacrifice doesn't mean suffering without purpose. It means investing in your future self. It means planting seeds that will one day become the forest you walk confidently through. Sacrifice means you choose temporary discomfort to earn permanent strength. You choose discipline today so that life rewards you tomorrow. You choose to lose the battle with comfort so you can win the war with destiny. You choose struggle now so you can live with freedom later. People think sacrifice is losing, but real sacrifice is simply delayed winning. The person who refuses to sacrifice will always be at the mercy of the person who does. When two people with equal talent compete, the one who is hungry enough to sacrifice more will always rise higher. The one who trains longer, studies harder, stays focused while others drift, pushes through fatigue while others quit, that person becomes undefeatable. Sacrifice sharpens your hunger. It teaches you to depend on discipline, not motivation. It forces you to become mentally tougher, emotionally stronger, spiritually grounded. Sacrifice is not something you do once. It is a lifestyle. It becomes part of your identity. You stop seeing it as a loss and start seeing it as preparation. People talk about dreams like they're light and easy to carry, but real dreams are heavy. Real dreams will weigh you down if you try to carry them while holding on to distractions, toxic habits, and laziness. You must lighten your load. You must make room. Sacrifice clears the path, so your dream has space to grow. If you want to reach your full potential, you must give up the things that keep you average. You must release the habits that drain your energy, the people who block your growth, the environments that poison your focus. Sacrifice is not just letting go. It is choosing what matters more. There is a cost to staying the same. People forget that. They think sacrifice only exists when they give something up. But there is always a cost. If you don't sacrifice for what you want becomes the sacrifice. If you don't sacrifice time to grow, you sacrifice opportunities. If you don't sacrifice comfort, you sacrifice your potential. If you don't sacrifice excuses, you sacrifice greatness. Either way, something is being sacrificed. You just need to choose what you're willing to lose. Hunger transforms sacrifice into strategy. Hungry people don't see sacrifice as suffering. They see it as alignment. They are willing to go to bed late and wake up early. They are willing to grind through the weekend, through the holidays, through obstacles, through doubts. They don't need applause. They don't need validation. They don't need permission. Their hunger is enough. Hungriest people in every industry aren't the most talented. They are the most disciplined. They sacrifice consistently, so they shine eventually. Think of every champion, every CEO, every artist, every leader who reshaped the world. Their talent gave them potential, but their hunger gave them perseverance. And perseverance is built through sacrifice. Greatness doesn't arrive in your life like a gift. It reveals itself after years of sacrifice that most people never see. People will admire your results, but they will never understand your sacrifices, and that's okay. Your sacrifices aren't supposed to be understood. They are supposed to be endured. There will be nights when sacrifice feels lonely, times when you question whether the grind is worth it, moments when you feel left out, left behind, or overlooked. But in those moments, you must remember why you started. You must remember what you're chasing. You must remember the future you're building. Sacrifice is painful now, but regret is painful forever. Regret lasts a lifetime. Sacrifice lasts a season, but the rewards last generations. Hunger forces you to choose your future over your feelings. It teaches you that success doesn't care how tired you are, how busy you are, how stressed you are, or how scared you are. Success only cares about your willingness to sacrifice. When you are hungry, nothing is off limits. Nothing is too big. Nothing is too costly. You become willing to pay the price because you finally understand something most people never do. Greatness requires a down payment, and sacrifice is that down payment. You may not control talent, but you control sacrifice. You control how much you're willing to give, how deeply you're willing to commit, how focused you're willing to remain. And when your hunger rises to the level where sacrifice becomes your natural instinct, you become unstoppable. The world cannot deny someone who consistently sacrifices for their dreams. The world rewards the discipline. The world makes room for the hungry. So let the world call you obsessed. Let them say you're doing too much. Let them say you're strange, intense, different. They're right. You are different because you're not trying to be average. You are trying to be exceptional. You're not trying to fit in. You're trying to break through. You're not living for their applause. You're living for your calling. And that calling requires sacrifice every day, every season, every level. And if you are truly hungry, you'll give whatever it takes. Because hunger never complains about the cost. Hunger pays it with pride. Resilience is one of those qualities people admire in others but rarely build within themselves. Everybody loves the idea of being strong, unstoppable, unbreakable. Everyone wants to say they never quit, that they always rise, that nothing can stop them. But resilience isn't something you claim. Resilience is something you prove again and again every time life hits you in the face and dares you to stay down. Talent might help you shine when everything is smooth, but resilience determines who survives the storms. Hunger creates that resilience. Hunger is what makes you come back when the world thinks you're finished. Hunger is what pushes you forward even when everything around you screams and quit. When you are hungry, resilience becomes your natural response to adversity. People with talent sometimes crumble because they're not used to being challenged. They've been praised for their natural abilities so much that they never built the muscles to endure hardship. But hungry people, those who fight for every inch of resilience as part of their survival, they don't get things easily. They work for every victory. They push through every disappointment. They rise from every setback. And because they've been through so many struggles, they become mentally tougher, emotionally stronger, and spiritually grounded. Their resilience is not an act. It's a lifestyle. It's in their bones. It's in their breath. It's in their heartbeat. Resilience means refusing to surrender even when quitting seems easier. It means taking the hit, wiping your tear, fixing your mindset, and stepping right back into the fight. It means deciding that no matter how many times life knocks you down, you will stand up again. Sometimes slowly, sometimes painfully, but always with purpose. Resilience does not remove the pain. Resilience gives you the strength to endure the pain. Resilience does not eliminate obstacles. Resilience teaches you how to overcome them. Hungry people don't expect life to be easy. They expect life to test them. And because of that expectation, they are never surprised by struggle. They embrace it, adapt to it, and rise above it. Most people lose not because they lack ability, but because they lack the resilience to keep going when the path becomes uncomfortable. They quit the moment it hurts. They surrender the moment it becomes inconvenient. They break under pressure because they never built the strength to hold themselves together. But hungry people keep coming. They keep trying. They keep pushing. They keep fighting. You cannot be the person who refuses to quit. Talent can be defeated. Skill can be outmatched. But resilience makes you undefeatable because it means you will not stop. And if you do not stop, eventually your breakthrough must come. Resilience is built in the dark, lonely moments. The moments no one celebrates, no one sees, no one applauds. It's in the nights when you cry yourself to sleep because you did everything right and still fail. It's in the mornings when you don't want to get out of bed because the weight of disappointment feels suffocating. It's in the moments when your plans collapse, your support disappears, your confidence cracks, and still you choose to get up. Resilience is choosing to believe in yourself even after life gives you every reason not to. It's choosing hope when fear feels louder. It's choosing effort when exhaustion takes over. Resilience is not a feeling, it's a decision. Hunger is what powers that decision. Hunger keeps your hope alive. Hunger keeps your fire burning. Hunger whispers to keep going when logic says you should quit. Hunger reminds you of your why, your dreams, your family, your purpose, your legacy. Hunger transforms your pain into fuel and your setbacks into lessons. When you're hungry, adversity becomes a teacher instead of a trap. Instead of breaking down, you break through. Instead of crumbling, you climb. Hunger gives resilience direction. Hunger gives resilience meaning. Hunger turns resilience from simple survival into strategic progress. Life will test you. Life will challenge you. Life will push you to your breaking point. And it will be in those breaking point moments that resilience matters most. You will face failures that shake your confidence. You will face losses that crush your heart. You will face betrayals that cut deep. You will face uncertainties that overwhelm you. You will face fears that freeze you. And talent won't save you in those moments. Talent won't comfort you. Talent won't guide you. Talent won't give you the strength to rise. Only resilience will. Only the hunger inside you will give you the courage to take one more step, even when your legs feel weak and your spirit feels cracked. Resilience means accepting that setbacks are part of the journey, not signs to stop. It means refusing to internalize failure. It means understanding that life doesn't punish you by knocking you down. Life trains you by knocking you down. Every setback is preparation. Every challenge is conditioning. Every hardship is strengthening your character. Resilience is recognizing every difficulty is preparing you for what you prayed for. You cannot ask for strength and then complain when life gives you struggles. You cannot ask for greatness and then resist the challenges that shape it. You cannot ask for elevation and then refuse the pressure that lifts you. Resilience connects your present pain to your future purpose. Hungry people see adversity as opportunity. They know that resilience builds capacity. Every time they push through, they become more capable. Every time they endure, they become more confident. Every time they rise, they become more powerful. Resilience creates a version of you that is wise, disciplined, focused, and unshakable. And when you become unshakable, opportunities start to open. Doors you couldn't break down before suddenly open easily because you've grown strong enough to walk through them without fear. Most people spend their whole lives avoiding discomfort. Hungry people chase discomfort because they understand that growth lives there. They know that resilience cannot be developed inside the comfort zone. It grows in the moments of inconvenience, challenge, pressure, and frustration. The very situations people avoid are the situations that build champions. Pain is the price of progress. Pressure is the price of potential. Struggle is the price of strength. And resilience is the reward you earn through survival. Resilience makes you stand tall even when the storm rages. It makes you steady even when your world spins. It makes you grounded even when everything around you shakes. Resilience doesn't mean you never feel fear. It means you don't let fear stop you. Resilience doesn't mean you never get tired. It means you don't stop just because you're tired. Resilience doesn't mean you never break down. It means you don't let the breakdown. It means you don't let the breakdown end your journey. You might cry. You might stumble. You might collapse, but you will rise. And every rise makes you stronger. Hunger is the foundation of that rise. Hunger is the promise you make to yourself that you would not leave this world without exhausting your potential. Hunger makes you bounce back faster. Hunger makes you train harder. Hunger makes you endure longer. Hunger makes you persist when others walk away. When you are hungry, resilience becomes your weapon. The obstacles don't disappear, but your power over them increases. People admire the finished product, but ignore the resilience it took to get there. They don't see the nights you stayed up grinding. They don't see the moments you pushed through your fears. They don't see the inner battles you fought alone. But resilience is not meant to be seen. It's meant to be lived. It's not for recognition. It's for transformation. Resilience is the proof that hunger beats talent. Because while talent may give up when things fall apart, hunger rebuilds, hunger reinvents, hunger restores, hunger rises. And that is what makes you unstoppable. Not your talent, not your intelligence, not your resources, your resilience, your refusal to quit, your determination to keep going, your hunger to finish what you started. When you develop resilience, life can hit you hard, but it will never defeat you. Opportunity is something people love to talk about, but very few truly understand that it rarely arrives ready-made or neatly packaged. Those people sit around waiting for doors to open, waiting for someone to notice their talent, waiting for someone to choose them, support them, or hand them a chance. But hungry people don't wait. Hungry people don't hope someone opens the door. They build the door themselves. They carve space out of nothing. They create momentum when the world gives them stillness. They create chances when circumstances look impossible. Hunger turns ordinary moments into opportunity because hungry people are always searching, always moving, always thinking, always grinding. They understand that opportunities are not found. They're created. Talent waits for permission. Hunger takes initiative. Talent asks, is this the right time? Hunger answers the right time is now. Talent wants everything perfect. Hunger uses whatever is available, no matter how imperfect. Hungry people don't need ideal conditions to start. They don't need applause to begin. They don't need encouragement to act. That hunger inside them won't let them sit still. It forces them to search, to knock, to learn, to ask, to risk, to let circumstances limit destiny. That is why hungry people rise faster. They refuse to stand still long enough for life to pass them by. They work when others pause. They build when others sleep. They study when others procrastinate. They take action while others hesitate. Hunger creates a mindset of urgency where every single day becomes an opportunity to get better. Hungry people don't waste days, minutes, or moments. They squeeze potential out of everything they touch. They understand that opportunity rarely knocks, so they break down the door themselves. People get frustrated because they keep waiting for a perfect chance. They say, I don't have the resources, I don't have the support, I don't have the money, I don't have the connections. But hungry people know that opportunities grow when you grow. They know that you don't wait for the perfect moment. You make the moment perfect through preparation and effort. Hungry people prepare relentlessly so that when the smallest window opens, they are ready to climb through it. They understand a powerful truth. Opportunities do not show up for the unprepared. Every success story you've ever heard is built on created opportunities. They didn't happen by luck. They happened by hunger. People who were determined enough to take the little they had and turn it into something greater. They didn't have everything figured out. They didn't have all the answers, but they had hunger. They moved anyway. They built anyway. They tried anyway. And because they moved, opportunities appeared. Opportunities grow out of action. The more steps you take, the more doors you discover. The more doors you knock on, the more open. The more you push forward, the more the world shifts in your favor. Opportunities exist all around you, but only hungry people can see them. When you are hungry, you see possibilities where others see problems. You see paths where others see barrier. You see openings where others see dead ends. Hunger sharpens your vision. It gives you courage to walk into unfamiliar rooms. It gives you creativity to solve difficult challenges. Hunger becomes your GPS when life seems unclear. Most people get stuck because they're afraid of failing. They don't want to look foolish. They don't want to be judged. They don't want to make mistakes. Hungry people don't care about embarrassment. They don't care about rejection. But will care about rejection. They don't care about falling down. They care about progress. They care about purpose. They care about that goal that burns inside them. If they get rejected 100 times, they try 101. If one plan fails, they create another. If one door closes, they climb through the window. If the window is locked, they break it. Hungry people are too focused to be discouraged. Creating opportunities means taking risks. It means putting yourself in rooms where you don't feel ready. It means trying things you've never tried before. It means being uncomfortable. It means learning new skills. It means reaching out to people who might ignore you. It means stepping into challenges you could fail at. But hungry people accept this because they understand that risk is the currency of opportunity. You cannot play it safe and expect to grow. You cannot stay small and expect life to expand. Opportunity is born from movement. Stagnation kills potential. Hungry people also understand that opportunities often come disguised as challenges. When something goes wrong, when the plan collapses, when life shifts unexpectedly, most people panic or quit. But hungry people pause and look deeper. They know that buried inside almost every problem is a possibility. Sometimes losing a job leads to discovering a passion. Sometimes failing at something leads to a new strategy. Sometimes being rejected pushes you in the direction you were meant to go. Hungry people know that obstacles don't block opportunities, they reveal them. Opportunity is not random. Opportunity is attracted to hunger. When you're hungry, you work so hard that people notice. Doors open because people respect your consistency. Opportunities appear because your energy draws them. Mentors show up because they see your discipline. Collaborations form because your drive inspires others. The world responds to hunger. You don't need to chase people. Hunger makes people chase you. Hunger also makes you resourceful. It makes you find ways where others find excuses. Hungry people will study free content, watch tutorials, volunteer for experience, shadow others to learn, ask questions, research obsessively, and practice relentlessly. Don't dwell on what they lack. They maximize what they add. They know that excellence starts with effort, not equipment. Skill starts with repetition, not recognition. Progress starts with showing up, not waiting for approval. Hunger turns whatever's in your hands into a tool for growth. Every level of your life requires a new opportunity, but each new opportunity requires a new version of you. Hungry people evolve constantly. They don't get stuck in old patterns. They don't cling to outdated habits. They don't let their past limit their future. They adapt, they reinvent, they expand. They work on themselves until the opportunities they dream of feel natural instead of intimidating. They become the person their dreams require. Creating opportunities also means creating relationships. Not shallow connections, but meaningful, value-based relationships. Hungry people give before they receive. They help others. They collaborate. They share knowledge. They encourage. They add value to every environment they enter. And because they add so much value, people want to work with them. People want to recommend them. People want to open doors for them. Opportunity thrives in rooms filled with generosity, discipline, and effort. Most people think opportunity is an event, like a sudden moment that changes everything. But real opportunity is a series of choices you make daily. Waking up early, that's opportunity. Practicing your craft, that's opportunity. Improving your skills, that's opportunity. Staying focused, that's opportunity. Showing discipline, that's opportunity. Every small step is creating momentum, and momentum creates opening. Hungry people understand that opportunities don't magically appear, they accumulate. Opportunity is also attracted to character. When you are honest, consistent, humble, and hardworking, opportunities come faster. People trust you. They rely on you. They respect your name. Your reputation becomes your resume. Your character becomes your elevator. Hungry people know that the greatest opportunities come to those who operate with integrity, even when it's difficult. But creating opportunities takes patience. Hungry people understand that great things don't appear overnight. They grind day after day without expecting instant results. They work silently without applause. They build brick by brick, step by step, hour by hour. And then one day the opportunity that seemed invisible becomes undeniable. And people will look at them and say, oh, they got lucky. But it's not luck, it's hunger. It's years of consistency that created the moment others call luck. Opportunity belongs to those who act, those who dare, those who believe in themselves when no one else does. Talent is comfortable waiting. Hunger is desperate to move. Talent hopes. Hunger hunts, talent sleeps. Hunger stays awake. Talent gets frustrated. Hunger gets creative. Talent stops when it struggles. Hunger starts again. Opportunity bows to hunger because hunger never stops knocking. And that's what separates the few who rise from the many who stay stuck. The hungry don't sit around waiting for someone to choose them. They choose themselves. They choose the grind. They choose growth. They choose courage. They choose resilience. They choose resilience. They choose movement. And because they choose movement, life chooses them back. There comes a point in every journey where the noise around you becomes so loud, so overwhelming, so aggressive that it tries to drown out the quiet fire inside your chest. It is in those moments that most people fold. It is in those moments that people start questioning their purpose, doubting their path, comparing their progress, and losing sight of who they were becoming. But the ones who truly rise, the ones who break patterns, change destinies, and rewrite their stories, are those who learn to quiet the noise. Silence the chaos and listen deeply to the small voice inside that said, keep going. You were built for this. You have to understand that the outside world will always have something to say. People will always have an opinion about your journey, your speed, your failures, your choices, your dream, your decision. The world has a strange habit of criticizing those who dare to want more. But you can't allow the outside world to shape your inside drive. You can't let the noise around you kill the hunger within you. Hunger doesn't respond to noise. Hunger responds to purpose. Hunger responds to vision. Hunger responds to that burning desire to turn the impossible into the inevitable. There will be seasons in your life where you are pushing with everything you've got and nobody notices. You're grinding while others sleep, studying while others waste time, training while others relax, sacrificing while others enjoy comfort. And while you're doing everything you can to elevate your life, someone will still have something negative to say. Someone will still doubt you. Someone will still think you're dreaming too big. Someone will still believe you're wasting your time. That's the moment where you must decide. Will you let their doubt shape your destiny, or will you allow your inner fire to burn brighter because of it? You cannot let opinions guide your mission. If you live by their praise, you will die by their criticism. If you let their claps motivate you, then their silence will destroy you. You need a hunger that exists independent of validation. You need a drive that doesn't depend on applause. You need a fire that comes from your soul, not from the outside world. Because the truth is, anyone can be motivated when people are cheering. Anyone can be confident when things are going well. But real greatness shows up when you're alone in the dark, fighting your battles, building your skills, working on your craft, and nobody sees any of it. That's where champions are made, not in the light, but in the shadows. Life will test your focus. It will send distractions designed to pull your attention away from your purpose. It will place people in your life who will tempt you to slow down, settle, compromise, or take it easy. Some distractions come disguised as opportunities. Some come disguised as comfort. Some come disguised as relationships. But hunger requires clarity. Hunger requires precision. Hunger requires knowing exactly what you want and refusing to entertain anything that doesn't align with that mission. You can't chase everything and expect to win. You can't say yes to every invitation and expect to grow. You can't allow every voice to influence you and expect to stay true to who you are. The more committed you become to your purpose, the more you have to protect your mind. Because everything starts in the mind. Your discipline, your habits, your resilience, your courage. If your mind is cluttered with doubt, fear, comparison, negativity, or distraction, your hunger will weaken. But when your mind is clear, sharp, focused, locked in, your hunger becomes unstoppable. That's why you must be intentional about the environment you create, the people you surround yourself with, and the energy you allow into your life. If it doesn't push you forward, it's pulling you backward. There is no in between. Understand that hunger thrives in silence. Hunger grows in solitude. Hunger strengthens when you stop trying to prove yourself to everyone and start working on becoming the best version of you. Too many people lose their fire because they waste energy trying to convince others of their greatness. You don't have to prove anything to anybody. Just work. Just grind. Just grind. Just build. Let your results speak. Let your consistency speak. Let your transformation speak. The loudest statement you will ever make is the life you create through relentless effort. Every great story you admire, every champion you look up to, every success you dream about, they didn't get there because they were talented. They got there because they were hungry. Talent opens the door, but hunger keeps you in the room. Talent starts the engine, but hunger fuels the journey. Talent may give you a head start, but hunger determines who finishes the race. And hunger is something nobody can take away from you, or unless you give it away. Hunger is the one thing that doesn't rely on luck, resources, background, connections, or timing. It's internal, it's personal, it's sacred. There are going to be moments where you feel lost, moments where you feel stuck, moments where the path ahead seems blurry. But those who stay hungry keep moving anyway. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They don't wait for guarantees. They don't wait for guarantees. They don't wait for someone to push them. They push themselves. Hunger makes you get up even when you're tired. Hunger makes you try again even after you fail. The hunger makes you stay disciplined even when the world says it's okay to quit. Hunger makes you dangerous because it turns ordinary individuals into extraordinary forces. But with hunger comes sacrifice. You cannot have everything and expect to achieve greatness. Something has to go. Comfort has to go. Excuses have to go. Distractions have to go, or just have to go. If you want a new life, you have to be willing to let go of the old one. You cannot elevate while holding on to the weight that's been holding you down. You cannot grow while staying attached to what's keeping you small. Hunger demands that you choose your future over your present, your purpose over your pleasure, your discipline over your impulses. There will be days where you question everything, days where progress feels slow, days where nothing seems to be working, days where the grind feels heavier than usual. And this is where people with talent tap out. This is where people with comfort background turn away. This is where people who want quick results fall apart. But the hungry, they push through. They understand every season has a purpose, even the painful ones. They understand that growth often comes disguised as struggle. They understand that pressure shapes diamonds and fire forges steel. They understand that hard seasons are not punishment. They are preparation. You have to remember that the world rewards the persistent, not just the gifted. The world rewards the resilient, not just the intelligent. The world rewards the ones who stay faithful, not the ones who are merely capable. Hunger earns you respect. Hunger earns you opportunities. Hunger earns you strength. Hunger earns you the life you dream about, the life you visualize, the life you feel deep in your spirit is meant for you. So when the noise gets loud, when the doubts creep in, when the pressure rises, when the path feels long, go back to remind yourself why you started. Remind yourself what you're fighting for. Remind yourself what you're fighting for. Remind yourself who you are becoming. Let that fire push you. Let that fire carry you. Let that fire keep you going when everything around you tries to slow you down. The world cannot stop someone who refuses to stop themselves. Hunger beats talent every single day. Not because it is stronger, but because it never quits. At the end of the day, everything you've heard, everything you felt, everything you've understood comes down to one simple truth. Your life will be shaped not by what you were born with, but by what you decide to become. The world is full of people who started with everything. Talent, resources, connections, opportunities, and still ended up nowhere because they never developed a hunger to sustain the journey. And the world is full of people who started with nothing. No privilege, no special skill, no perfect environment, and still rose to unbelievable heights because they refused to let their circumstances define their future. What separates the two is not chance, it's hunger. It's hunger. It's the willingness to show up every single day, even when everything in your life tries to push you back down. It's the willingness to fight for your destiny, even when no one else believes in it. It's the willingness to stay committed to the journey, even when the path gets dark, lonely, or painful. If you've been listening closely, you already know that greatness is not an accident. It's a choice. It's a decision you make daily. A decision to be better than you were yesterday. A decision to break cycles that have trapped generation. A decision to evolve even when it hurts. A decision to keep going, even when quitting looks easier. Every step you take, every sacrifice you make, every moment you choose discipline over comfort is building the version of yourself you were always meant to be. You don't need someone to give you permission. You don't need a sign. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need the courage to start and the hunger to keep going. Understand this clearly. Your dreams are not too big. Your goals are not unrealistic. Your ambitions are not impossible. What makes them feel out of reach is not the size of the dream, but the size of the effort you're willing to commit. People aren't failing because their goals are too large. They're failing because their hunger is too small. They want success, but not enough to sacrifice for it. They want the reward, but not enough to endure the process. They want the final chapter, but not enough to live the pages in between. But that's not you. If you are here, if you are listening, if you are reading these words, it's because something inside you refuses to settle. Something inside you knows you were built for more. Something inside you is tired of excuses, tired of stagnation, tired of watching everyone else rise while you stay in the same place. Something inside you is ready to rise. The journey ahead will not be perfect. You will fall, you will struggle, you will fail, you will lose people you thought would stay forever. You will face challenges you never expected. But none of that means you are losing. None of that means you are unworthy. None of that means you aren't capable. The most powerful individuals in history weren't strong because their lives were easy. They were strong because their lives were hard, and they kept going anyway. Your scars will become your strength. Your setbacks will become your wisdom. Your pain will become your power. Only if you stay hungry. Only if you keep moving. Only if you don't let temporary discomfort sabotage your long term. You must remember that every season has meaning. The seasons where you're winning teach you gratitude. The seasons where you're losing teach you resilience. The seasons where you're growing teach you discipline. The seasons where you're alone teach you identity. And the seasons where you feel stuck teach you patience. Every season is shaping you, preparing you, refining you. There's a reason why your journey looks different from others. There's a reason why your path is harder. There's a reason why you face battles others can't imagine. It's because you are being built for something bigger, something greater, something extraordinary. Pressure produces diamonds. Fire forges steel, struggle shape legends. But none of that matters if you quit. None of that matters if you decide comfort is more important than growth. None of that matters if you choose fear over faith. You can't live the life you dream about while clinging to the life you're supposed to outgrow. You can't evolve into the best version of yourself while protecting the limitations of your old self. Growth requires disruption. Elevation requires separation. Success requires transformation. And transformation always feels uncomfortable at first. But that discomfort is proof you're moving in the right direction. It's proof you're leaving average behind. It's proof you're stepping into your greatness. The most important thing you can do, starting out in this moment, is to take control of your life. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for someone to save you. Nobody is coming. You are the one who has to save yourself. You are the one who has to wake up and say, enough is enough. You are the one who has to break the patterns, rewrite the narrative, and fight for the destiny that belongs to you. Nobody can want it more than you. Nobody can work for it on your behalf. Nobody can carry your dream except you. And the moment you fully embrace that truth, your life will change forever. You need to be honest with yourself about what you want and what you're willing to give. It's easy to say you want success. It's harder to live in a way that earns it. It's easy to say you want greatness. It's harder to sacrifice for it. It's easy to say you're hungry. It's harder to stay hungry when things get hard. But the ones who make it, the ones who rise to the top, the ones who break the system, the ones who achieve the impossible are the ones who stay hungry. Even when the reward feels far away, they stay hungry even when they are tired. They stay hungry even when they are discouraged. They stay hungry when others stop, when others quit, when others let the world distract them. They stay hungry because they understand that success isn't about talent, luck, or opportunity. It's about the relentless pursuit of growth. It's about the daily decision to outwork who you were yesterday. You owe it to yourself to become the person you're capable of being. You owe it to your future to give your full effort in the present. You owe it to the younger version of you, the one who dreamed, who hoped, who believed to finish what they started. Think about everything you survived. Think about everything you've overcome. Think about every moment you could have quit but did. You're still here, and you're here for a reason. You didn't come this far to give half your effort. You didn't come this far to quit when it gets hard. You didn't come this far to live a life beneath your potential. You came this far to rise. So as this journey continues, as you step into the next chapter of your life, carry your hunger with you. Protect it, feed it, strengthen it. Let it remind you who you are. Let it remind you what you're capable of. Let it remind you that no matter how talented someone else is, nobody can outwork you if you choose to stay hungry. That's your advantage. That's your weapon. That's your weapon. That's your edge. Talent might shine in the beginning, but hunger shines in the end. And you're not here for a temporary shine. You're here to dominate, to transform, to elevate, to leave a mark that lasts long after you're gone. This is your moment. This is your time. This is your life. And no matter what the world throws at you, no matter how loud the noise gets, no matter how tough the journey becomes, remember this: hunger beats talent every single day. Not because it's easier, but because it never stops. And neither should you.